Hello, I'm Jacqueline Rudig, the treasurer of the Institute of General Semantics. And tonight I have the honor of presenting, albeit long overdue, the annual J. Talbot Winchell Award to our president, Dr. Martin Levinson. Long overdue, I say, because in the past it was Marty who always suggested prospective candidates for this award. But apparently it seems Marty just never thought of suggesting himself. So this year, we, the Board of Trustees, finally took the matter into our own hands, and we wholeheartedly agreed that it's time. It's time for Marty to receive this formal acknowledgement of all he has contributed to the General Semantics legacy. The award plaque, a little hard to show with the reflection, but the award plaque reads, "The trustees of the Institute of General Semantics proudly present the 2020 J. Talbot Winchell Award to Martin Levinson in recognition of his indispensable contributions, accomplishments, and time-binding efforts in service to the field of general semantics." They say we know our worlds by the stories we tell. And this is my story of what's been going on in the IGS world since Marty took the lead. In 2007, the Institute was on shaky financial ground, without a president, and a bit perplexed as to its purpose and vision. It looked as though we had just a few years to go before the Institute would likely dissolve or become absorbed by a similar, or not so similar, organization. Marty was vice president at the time, and the board logically assumed, there's a word general semanticists tend to avoid. We assumed that, of course, he would love to become our president. Not so. He was reluctant, not really interested. Crazy talk, stupid talk, to coin the phrase of Neil Postman, one of Marty's early general semantics mentors. Marty had just retired from the New York City Board of Ed, and he had so many other plans to fill his golden years. But we talked him into it. Okay, he said, I'll give you 1 year. 1 year to help get IGS back on track. Well, Marty's 1-year promise has lasted 13 years. 13 golden years, I hope. In my allotted time tonight, I can only touch on what's gone on during those 13 years. To start, Marty proposed in 2007 that in order to stay viable, we need to cut salaried staff and relocate IGS headquarters to a less expensive venue. From that point it was, as Marty likes to say, onward and upward. He led the effort to put IGS on a sound financial footing, liquidating the Texas real estate that was draining our funds, and transformed IGS into an organization staffed fully by volunteers. After orchestrating the move out of Texas, he set up a nearly cost-free virtual headquarters in New York. By the way, if you happen to call the Institute of General Semantics, Marty is the guy who answers the phone, because he carries that phone around with him in his back pocket. And from his kitchen table, Marty handles incoming IGS mail, processes the paperwork necessary to maintain our membership and subscription rosters, and he carefully deposits any monies that come in through the mail. On his watch, we revived Etc., our quarterly journal. In fact, during that early stressful financial period, transition period, without a staff to rely on, Marty, with very little experience, edited an entire issue of Etc. all by himself. Something he swears he'll never do again, but that's a story he can tell you himself. Soon after that, we set up an alliance with JSTOR to have Etc. available online for the first time. Marty supported development of our state-of-the-art website, coordinating with Ben Hauk, our trustee and webmaster. He worked with Corey Anton to establish a volunteer bookstore at Grand Valley State University in Michigan for distribution of our books and other educational material. With his encouragement, we formed a publication committee and established the first IGS book series. Meanwhile, Marty wrote and published 5 IGS books and many academic general semantics articles of his own. He organized the annual Princeton Club AKML event for 12 straight years, helping to choose speakers and recruit presenters, and handle the 3-day symposium that usually followed. He also served as a United Nations NGO rep on behalf of the Institute. Over those 13 years, Marty has traveled and lectured at countless academic conferences and conventions. And when his lecture was over, he staffed our exhibitor table, sold books, and recruited new members. Attendance at these conferences also helped us meet, befriend, and recruit the illustrious and younger media ecology trustees who now grace our board, time-binding the hope that both IGS and the general semantics discipline will faithfully carry on for the next generation. When the venerable New York Society for General Semantics was on the verge of dissolution, Marty assembled a group of us to revive and renew it, and I'm happy to say that it now thrives under the direction of our own Lance Strait, with Marty serving as treasurer. If you live in or visit the New York area, please check it out, or check out their website at nysgs.org. Currently, Marty is teaching a course grounded in GS theory at Stony Brook University on Long Island. The course is called How to Improve Your Thinking and Communicating Ability. I find this interesting because it was just such a course taught at Cooper Union by the late trustee Harry Maynard, where Marty was first introduced to general semantics in 1979. What goes around comes around, they say. As the call, so is the echo. All of this has transpired with Marty never failing to appreciate, nurture, commend the efforts of all the other trustees. He calls us dedicated and smart with terrific ideas and strategies. Well, to whatever degree that is true, much of it is because he's been such a strong leader and role model for the rest of us. Perhaps you've realized by now that my recounting of the past 13 years is likely something more than just to present a long overdue award, and that's true. It's also a very timely testimonial and a thank you to Marty for all that he's accomplished during the 1 year that morphed into 13. Dr. Levinson has decided to step down as IGS president at the end of this year, and I don't think we'll be able to talk him out of it. He leaves some very big shoes to fill, but he is also leaving IGS financially and structurally sound, with an enthused and capable international board of trustees who are ready to take on the challenge of a new century, new paradigms of communication, and better ways to map the territory of the interconnected and increasingly complex world in which we live. So kudos to you, Marty. And in your own words, onward and upward. Thank you.
Wow.